Fathers Who Bother is made possible in part by the contributions of listeners like you. To support Fathers Who Bother, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Fathers Who Bother and become a monthly subscriber today. On the next episode of Fathers Who Bother, I talk to rapper Tracey Lee Esq about the benefits of becoming a dad in his 40s, parenting in the age of Google, recording a song with his daughter, and his new project, Glory. Check it out. What's up? Welcome to Fathers Who Bother, a podcast for men who are dad as we want to be. My next guest is a proud Howard University bison who took the rap world by storm with his 1997 debut album, Many Faces. His hit single, The Theme, It's Party Time, was in Billboard's Top 100 for 37 weeks. He has rapped alongside the likes of Busta Rhymes, Kanye West, and the late, great, Notorious B.I.G. He obtained his Juris Doctorate degree from Southern University Law Center, making him hip-hop's first Esquire. In 2020, he released the album Glory, the third project on his Left Entertainment label, along with the corresponding book of the same name, which we're going to talk about today. But today, we are going to talk about the joys of being a dad. So please welcome Tracey Lee to the podcast.
Salute, my brother. Salute. Hey, this is the deja vu, right? It seems like everything goes full circle.
This is full circle, circle. Y'all need to understand something. Talking to this man right now is very, very special to me. If you followed me at any point, for any reason, because you enjoy my writing, this man is the very first person I interviewed. Very first. My career started in 1997. Writing for a little magazine called Trace. Shout out to Smokey Fontaine. He called me up one day. I was a first grade teacher.
Wow.
And he called me up and he said, "Hey, I know you said you want to get into this writing. There's this guy, Tracey Lee. I want you to interview. Need you to meet him at the Shark Bar." And I'm like, "Word?" Sent me the cassette of the song. Was it what is the cassette? Maybe cassette, or it might have been a CD, probably cassette.
Beginning stage, whatever. Yeah.
I was like, this song is jamming. So we posted up at the Shark Bar, talking about his debut album, Many Faces, and he introduced me to this drink. What was that drink, Tracy?
It's called the Smackdown. Bailey's, Hennessy, just to be clear, and I don't know what we were doing, but Hennessy, Bailey's, and Grand Marnier. If you could just imagine that now, I will say it's tasty, but it's so tasty that you find yourself drinking more and more of it. Then the next thing you know, hence the Smackdown.
It was smacked down. So you got to imagine, as first impressions go, I get to interview a rapper, get drunk, and write about it. That was the end of my teaching career.
Wow. Yeah.
I was on spring break from teaching, doing this interview, and I went back and I said, "Y'all, I'm done." It was my first year, and I was already kind of on the fence about whether I was going to come back, but that sealed the deal. It was like, okay, nah, this is what I want to do for a living.
So I corrupted you a little bit.
You corrupted.
My bad, brother. My bad. You know what I mean?
Now you just let me know that I could actually. And funny thing, the irony is I didn't even get paid for that article. He told me up front that we ain't got no budget, but I just wanted to get on so bad. You know, this was the 90s. If you wanted to get started writing, you started out for free usually. But I had so much fun. And then when I saw the piece published, I said, "Oh, I saw my byline next to the article." I said, "Oh no, this is me. This is what I want to do."
Dope.
So, and we had a great conversation because Many Faces, man, that concept. Yo, people don't really understand how far ahead of your time you were with that, though.
Hey, thank you, man. From an accomplished writer such as yourself, I appreciate that because, listen, I get more accolades for it now than then. Back then, it like you said, people just weren't ready. They thought I was schizophrenic. They were telling me, he need to just pick a lane, just stay with the party music, and all this other stuff, man. But I'm glad that I'm alive to hear people finally catch up to it, if you will, and say, hey man, that project was kind of ahead of its time, man. Because I listen to it now, like it stands. It's still,
Yeah.
it stood the test of time. We
With
talk
a
about,
murder mystery,
yeah.
with all the identities. Come on. Like if that came out now, you could do like spin-off albums,
That's a
like
fact.
EPs for each personality.
Somebody
You
said I
know,
should shoot a video right now for that, and I'm thinking about
you should. You should. I
it.
would watch. Yo, I'm saying you should, because I think a whole new audience would be like, yo, what was this dude on 20 years ago?
Right, man.
So after that, so you've been a busy dude.
Yeah.
You've been a very busy, you got your law degree. What made you want to go into law after rapping?
I mean, you could probably guess. I mean, this
I
business,
can.
this business, man. I mean, I just think, and it's pretty much designed that way. This is a young man's sport, if you will, with regards to who the executives like to reel in as the talent. And I think partially, a lot of it has to do with the energy. A lot of that has to do with the audience that they attract when it comes to pop culture. But then some of that has to do with ignorance. You know what I'm saying? So that they are able to position themselves to, I don't want to use the word take advantage, but to be able to leverage the negotiation, if you will. They know that they're bringing in somebody that's young, hungry, just want to get on, not really willing to dot the I's and cross the T's with regards to the business acumen and understanding, what the language is really saying and what it's really all about. They just want to get these guys in here. It's like a factory. It's like a machine. You want to get these guys in here, put some money into them, get the investment out of it, make a profit and move them along. Or, if you're fortunate enough to be in that 1 percentile, you'll end up making a full career out of this. But I would venture to say 99% of the cats that get signed don't end up staying on a label, wind up getting dropped, and then you have to figure out a pivot later on in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it was, man. I just, it's going through the bumps and bruises a little bit, realizing what it is when I finally get in there. While, you spend all your life trying to, achieve this dream. And then when you get in there and you see it ain't what you thought it was. So now it's like, okay, so how do I figure out a way to be able to navigate on that side of the business, not just for myself, but for other cats that's coming up in the game where I can give them the kind of guidance that I didn't really get when I came up. You know what I'm saying?
Now, speaking of guidance, what was your family's thoughts, particularly your father, about your chosen careers?
Oh man, it's funny. So me and my pop have a fantastic relationship. Like that's my guy now, but it was a little turbulent, you know what I'm saying, over some time. And I'll take a deeper dive into that in a second. But as it pertains to this particular question, I remember, and I think I saw the beginning stages of this. My pop's a Kappa, right? He's also, he's retired now, but he was a corporate guy. He worked for General Motors. So, he's about practicality. You know what I'm saying? As is my mother, but my mother's a little bit more, you know what I mean? I'll support you in whatever you do. My pop is too, but to a certain extent. He's going to try to push you in a certain direction as far as he can until he realizes that ain't the direction I'm trying to go in. So I think he's very supportive of the music now. He was supportive of the music back then, but I think he was more interested in me getting a corporate position somewhere, and he had all the strings to pull. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He's a personnel director, so he knows guys at this plant, that plant, whatever. But I think after a while he kind of figured out, nah, that ain't the direction Trey's trying to go in. So but it was a little bit of, you know what I mean? What do you mean? You want to, you know what I'm saying? But he's extremely supportive. He has all my music, like music that nobody's ever heard, and he's bragging about it. He teaches down in Florida. He teaches golf to high school students, and he's in with the athletic department. So he's actually given, the young cats, in their weight room, he's giving them, my CDs and all that other kind of stuff. And they're actually working out to my music. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up.
That's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. So what was your relationship like growing up?
Yeah. So I've always known my father. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
My mother, she made it a point, always know who my father is, always know that side of the family. But there was a period like, because they were never together. So
Okay.
there was a period where, my pop, he wound up getting married, I think when I was 2,
Mm,
to someone else.
mm,
But I would still go. I know my brother and my sisters and all that kind of stuff. We have a great relationship. But there
right.
was a period where something happened, I think from 10 to 17,
Mm-hmm.
where communication was cut off. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Um, and it was really kind of like like my mom never said, no, don't talk to your pops again. But
Mm.
it was really a decision that I had made. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What
I
inspired
think
that decision?
it was something where he he did something, and I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay.
But my mom was like, so do you want to continue to go see him in the summers and all that? And I was just like, I'm 10 years old, and I felt like it was because I felt like the whatever he did, and I wish I could remember, but I think it was a situation where it was too adult for me,
Mm,
where my mom wouldn't fully explain it.
mm.
But she still left the decision up to me. You know what I'm saying? But
Interesting.
and my decision was made based off of how I thought she felt. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And so I'm always going to side with my mom, always, no
Right.
matter what. So if I feel like she feels a certain way about it, even though she's not verbally saying this, then
Mm.
I'm like, well, nah, I don't want to go see him. And so
Wow.
I completely cut off the communication with him for 7 years until I was a senior year, and my senior year in high school, actually graduation, close to graduation. And I sent him something from my yearbook, and it was a list of all the accolades, that I was able to achieve without him. So
Wow.
basically, I found, where he was located, and I sent him, the yearbook, and I wrote something in it like, yeah, I did all this without you, da 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 da. Put it in the mail, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't really expect anything. I just was like, I just want you to see this is how it went down. And so, but it was a double. I had double reasons for doing that. The other one was I miss my brother and sister. So
Mm.
I really wanted to forge a relationship with my brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? So I was hoping, but I didn't expect, but I was hoping that he would see it, and at least, because I did write something like, yeah, tell my brother and sister I said what's up, and they can give me a call at any time. You know what I'm saying? Really, not you,
Oh my
tell them, you know what I'm
God.
saying?
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. And so, but I guess about a week or two later, man, he sent me a graduation present. It was like a ring with the initials TL on it, and he kind of began to open up and pour out. Man, I never meant for this to happen. Da 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 da. And man, why don't you come down? You know what I'm saying? Come visit. You know what I'm saying? I think he was in Mississippi at the time. Like, come
Okay.
visit. You can see the family. Da 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 da. So after 7 years of being mad, which I was really tired of being mad. You know
It's
what
a
I'm saying? I
long
don't like.
time to be mad, Trey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's draining, man. Especially now. Like now, if I feel myself getting, I'll just walk away, man. I don't have that kind of energy and time
Right.
to wasting. But it was a good moment, man. It was like finally, I get to reunite with my pop, see my brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? My stepmom and all that. And so, I took a trip down to Mississippi, man. And as the years, it seemed like we picked up right where we left off. You know what I mean? So that's that spiel. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Funny enough, being Trey, I've had a lot of conversations about the boys in the hood moment, the Furious Styles moment when the young man gets sent to live with his father because the mother's like, "You're turning 10." My boy Sky Zoo even has a song called "When He Turns 10" off
Mm,
his project
wow.
that he wrote about fatherhood.
Mm.
Um, and you did the reverse. You
Right.
said, "I'm not going to my dad.
I'm
I'm
out, man.
cutting dad off at 10 years
Yeah,
old."
man. I was heated. You know what I'm saying?
So were there any other during that 7-year period, were there any other male like father figures in your life? Because those are formative years for a kid. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? 10 to 17, like, is when you really kind of come into your own.
yeah.
So were there any other men in your life at that time?
Yeah, my sister, my youngest sister, her
Mm-hmm.
dad.
Okay.
He came into the fold, you know what I'm saying? But primarily, and he was definitely, you know, for a good juncture, because I think my sister came when I was 13, going on 14. It was 84.
Okay.
But by that time, I was in boarding school. I attended a boarding school in Philadelphia called Girard College.
Mm,
And so that really was the thing that filled the void,
gotcha.
because it's a school specifically for black, not for black. It initially started off for white orphan males. Then, after the civil rights movement, there's a cat in Philly by the name of Cecil B. Moore,
Mm,
who, was ahead, on the front lines of the civil rights movement, an attorney, I believe. They lobbied to get black people in school. And
okay.
so, ironically enough, now the school is about 90-95% black, you know what I'm saying? But when
Wow.
I went in, it was all males. It eventually turned into co-ed, but it was all of us from single parent homes. That was one of the criteria. You had to come from a single parent home,
Mm-hmm.
mostly mothers, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I knew of anybody that, came from a single parent home where the dad was in the house. So we were all coming from single parent homes with just our mothers. And now I have like hundreds of brothers across the country based off of me going to the school. And the school is from first grade all the way up into 12th grade. Very
Mm,
unique situation, right in the heart of North Philly. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And so I think that, you know, because there was this commonality amongst, these young, black kids, with coming from similar backgrounds, similar home environments, and then with the people that they had at this school, from the teachers to the people that we stayed in dorms, so to the house parents is what they call them, from the teachers to the house parents to the coaches on our basketball, football. I mean, not football. We didn't have football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport that you decide. I think they provided and were like a, um, a unit amongst each other to be able to get us through this particular time in our lives. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Which was a tremendous help. And this is the foresight of my mother, because she saw things happening. She saw things, when I reached a certain age that she's not going to be able to deal with, you know what I'm saying? Me being a young, black male coming up, especially in America, and where I was headed and turning with regards to my influences and friends in the street and all this other stuff. She saw it coming. And she's like, I'm not going to be able to deal with this. So let me do some research. And I don't know if she decided, whether she investigated military school or anything like that, but it was just, by the grace of God, man. I always lean on God and spirituality, man. By the grace of God, she found this place. And that place essentially saved my life. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
that filled the void. That filled a tremendous void. You know what I'm saying?
Word. So 17, high school graduation, you meet up with you reconcile with your father.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, had you already been accepted to Howard, or was
Uh,
that
we were waiting on the acceptance letters. You know what I'm saying?
okay?
My pop and my mom and my stepmom and my sister, they all went to Clark. They all went to Clark. Clark
So
Atlanta.
you were the rebel.
It was no, I'm not. Wait, I got more. So
Okay, okay.
it was called Clark College back then, but then by the time my sister popped up, I think it was called Clark Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then my youngest sister went to
Mm-hmm.
Howard. She followed me, and then my brother, who's older than the sister that went to Clark, he went to Morehouse.
Okay.
So it's all HBCU thing over here, right? So I think after we reconciled, it could have been a situation I could have went to Clark, you know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
easily, he
Mm-hmm.
had relationships there and all that stuff. But if I wasn't gonna go to Clark, then it would be Morehouse because it's in Atlanta. So everybody was pushing me in that direction.
Yeah.
So I was in the process of, just trying to figure out where I knew where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Howard, but Howard had to accept me. So I
Mm-hmm.
just filled out applications everywhere. And he was around, when that happened, you know what I'm saying? Like, on the phone and all that, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. But he came back into play right around in that, in that vicinity, you know what I'm saying?
So young Trey's is a college man now, and you mentioned your dad's a Kappa. I won't hold that against him because I'm an Alpha. This is an Alpha podcast, but shout out to Apollo Brown and some of my previous Kappa guests. What kind of advice did he have for you for navigating the world of the collegiate experience?
Oh man, I think him and especially my mother. I'll get to him in a second, but my mother was like early in the game, 8, 9, 10 years old. She said, "Listen, college is gonna be the best time of your life."
Right.
And it's and for some reason, it just because I'm an outgoing, I'm a party dude, especially back then. So it's like it sounded like a party to me. Best time of my life sounded like one big party. So it just stuck in my head all of those years. Like I'm going to college. I'm going to college, not for the education, just because she said it's the best time of my life. So now getting to him, when I get to Howard, he's already, I'm already thinking, okay, so what am I going to do in the summers and all the other stuff? And he's already got, things lined up with regards to working for General Motors, which was a great paycheck in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? I worked at a plant in Baltimore. He hooked up. Then I wound up going down to Mississippi where he was. I worked there 2 summers. But he also wanted me to pledge. Here's a funny story. And I think I wanted to pledge because I was surrounded by that, all my life.
Right.
When I got, because my mom's a AKA, my sister's a Delta, my stepmom's a Delta. I mean, it's just all around me.
Right.
So when it comes time, because at the time when I got on campus, they were on probation. You know what I'm saying? For hazing, all that kind of stuff. But I think they all came back. All the Greeks came back to Howard, I think in 90. I think I was a junior. So that's when I was like,
well, early 90s were a time for
yeah. But here's the deal though, Jay. Like, I think if they were on campus by the time when I was a freshman, when I got there, or I would have been in. But I think by the time that got there, by my junior year, I had really kind of already established, myself with regards to the music and, people knowing me for that and the circle that we were creating behind that and all that kind of stuff. So, when you reach like, okay, so from an ego perspective, like, pardon my French, but we the shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Yeah. So it's like, what I need to do that for? You know what I mean? Like we already got something established over here. We got, our section of women that like to, follow us wherever we go and all that. Like it seems like a similar thing. Like I don't need to go, you know what I mean? So but
I dig it.
Out of respect, I said, you know what? I'm gonna try it out. So I went to this smoker, right? And I was in there, I was getting the information, but I'm a little arrogant, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we the shit. What I'm in there.
You were a junior?
I was a junior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see
that. Yeah, I'm a junior now. Like, yeah, so so I'm listening to the information. But here's the thing to turn me off. So after they go through all of that and they're telling us, the history, they tell us to break off in sections and get with somebody and So it was me and these 3 other brothers. We in front of this cat, and he's giving us the spiel. But I think here comes the whole. We're gonna test you. We're gonna test you. You know what I'm saying? Off the see who really wants it.
Right.
So the dude says, I see y'all standing here, but I don't have to let you in my frat. Like I really don't. So check this out. I want you to call me at 10. I need you to call me at 10:05. I need you to call me at 10:10. I want you to call me at 10:15. If y'all don't call me at that time, at that specific time, then I don't know what I can do for y'all. So I'm looking at him again. Ego kicks in. Like, huh? I never seen you. That's what I'm thinking. Like I'm around this whole campus. I never saw. Who are you? So I leave out of there living. So then I call my pop. I say, yeah. He said, so yeah, because I told him I was going. He's like, yeah. So how was it? I said, Yeah, I went to the smoker. I mean, this dude he seemed corny to me though, Pop. He's telling me I gotta call him at a specific. I'm not on his time. So he goes, "What do you mean? That's a part of the process. You're supposed to da 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 da." He was livid, hot. He didn't talk to me for at least about a month and a half, 2 months. He was hot. I was like, man, I'm not doing that. I'm feeling myself. I'm a junior. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? So I got it. Like, we get a laugh out of that now. You know what I'm saying? But he was hot. He was hot. He was not messing with me. Yo.
Oh man, because as a father, you can accept that your kid doesn't want to pledge. Like, I know my son doesn't have any interest in pledging or anything, but
how old is your son?
He's a college freshman now. He's 18.
Gotcha.
But if he went to a smoker and then went through all that, spoke to the brothers, and then was like, "Dad, they wanted me to call them." I'd be like, "What? That's step one. That's not even step one. That's step like -1. The phone call shit is like some of the earliest like that, and it, like you said, it was a test, and it was a test that you were like, nah, I'm out. I'm not doing this, because that if you ain't ready to call a brother at a designated time, you don't want to have no business pledging, because that is like the minimum of what you have to do.
So now you feel his pain. You feel my pop's pain.
I feel like his pain. Like I feel his pain, because I pledged in 1994, so I remember all that. Where's my phone call? What time? If you 2 minutes late and all that other craziness. But I feel for your pops. If you talk to listen, from one Greek to another, I feel his pain. But
I wasn't having it, Jay. Like, nah, I'm not calling this dude. Who does he know who I am? That's how I'm thinking. You don't know me.
So how far away is your debut album at this point? So you're at Howard.
Mm-hmm.
How many years out is the actual record deal?
Well, it's funny because I posted something. We talked about this briefly. I posted something on Instagram that showed people the actual like record that I pressed up before I actually got my deal, because we was running an independent label out of the dorm practically at Howard. It was a label called Funky Hit Records. Me, my man Kwame Anthony, Emergency, that was his DJ name. My man Cal's on top. And Kwame, he funded it primarily. He's from California. So he knew, this was back when we was doing record pools and all that. So he knew how that machine worked, especially coming from out that way. So he was like, nah, we're going to do it independent. You know what I'm saying? So we pressed up a maxi single in 1990. You see, that was a part of my ego. You dig what I mean? Like, these dudes don't know who I am. I just pressed up a record, man. Y'all bugging. You know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because I see both sides of it. Like, if I'm a junior and I already got a record out, like, what do I need you for? But then some people feel like this is the time. This should make it easy for me to get in because y'all want me. That's the thinking some people have is,
that's it.
I'm the shit and y'all should want me. So
and I was also thinking too. I was like, yo, I'm about to call him up. Like, I don't want me to call you. What? I'm calling my pop, man. Tell these cats what it is, because he's a big boy in there. Like, he's going to all of the national, conferences. He's on the cover of the magazines.
Wow.
Like, he's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm a legacy, man. I'm gonna call my pop, man. We ain't got to do all of this. Just let me in. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, that was really my first recording that we actually distributed. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on a major, but as far as being on a major, that's 6 years prior. So we're talking 90 when that went down, but I signed my deal in the spring of 96. So I was out of college. I graduated. I was 4 years out of college by that time, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
So you see how I'm tying in the family and the careers,
yes. Yeah,
so
I love it.
What's the fam thinking when the single, the first time they hear the theme on the radio?
Oh man. So I'm sitting in the car with my mom and we're driving. This is the first time I hear it with them. Now, I had heard it on Battle of the Beats on Hot 97 with Angie Martinez. That was the first time I heard it. Okay. And I was actually spending my budget on the trainer right? So I'm in Brooklyn with a trainer, and she has on the radio, and the joint comes on, and I'm like, yo, are they playing my record right now? You know, we stopped everything. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Da, da, da. I wonder, you know what I mean? But the first time I heard it with my mom was about 2 weeks later. I think I had won a couple nights. This was like in October of '96. So then we get close to the holidays, and you know how mix show is during the holidays. They just playing records. It ain't really a format, so to speak. At least back then it wasn't. Right. So, you know, it's Thanksgiving, and I'm down, you know, in Philly. I'm in Philly, and we're driving to, I want to say South Carolina. We're driving somewhere south. And before we can actually get out of the area where you can get the station, Power 99, just, you know, they playing joints back and forth, and we in a car, and that thing comes on. My mom was like, is that you? I listened, I said, yeah, like we live and direct, we coming down the East Coast, New York, Philly, da. And then when we get to North Carolina, it comes on again. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a market that really jumped on this record heavy when we put it out. You know what I mean? So, you know, she was excited, man. She came to a couple shows that we did in Philly when Gotham was open. You know, she was there. You know, and I think, you know, at first, like I said, she was always supportive, but I said something in the rhyme and on the edge. I refuse to go back to Philly until my shit's together, you know, and I got a degree and didn't use it. You know what I mean? I think, you know, because of, you know, people in that generation, the baby boomers, if you will, you know, the whole thing was go to college, get the degree, get the corporate job, you know what I'm saying? Because that was the next step for us as Black people in America. We finally were able to have an opportunity to be corporate, if you will. So I think there was a little bit of dejection when I decided not to take that route, and, you know, was working odd jobs, if you will, just so I could have enough money to, you know, go in the studio to cut a demo.
What odd jobs did Tracey Lee do to get a studio money?
Oh man, I worked at grocery stores. I was a valet parker. I was security at Union Station. You know, I did some other extracurricular things that, you know, we don't, you know what I mean? Are we past the statute? I think we are, but you know, we'll keep that out of the fold. You know what I'm saying?
You lived off the earth.
Yeah, there you go.
As the late great Sean Price used to say one time, I was picking berries off the trees like Rambo.
There you go.
He told me that one time. I was like,
oh man, wow, that's my I love Sean Price. I love P. That's my guy, man. That is my guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I was just doing stuff just to, you know, I worked at, you know, retail, National Locker Room, you know what I'm saying? I was just doing things just to get a check, just to be able to, you know, I was able to pay my rent, but then the bulk of that money went, you know what I'm saying, straight to the studio so we can, you know, make that demo so we could shop it or get it to somebody, because we knew people coming from Howard. We knew people that were already in, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just a matter of getting it in the right hands and, or the timing of it all, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know, when it finally paid off, you know, it was like, you know, she allowed, not to say that she couldn't, but she didn't really, you know, keep her foot on my neck. Like, yo, you need to go get a job. You need to go, you know what I'm saying? She allowed me to do what my passion was or is, you know what I'm saying? And so when it finally pays off, it's like, yeah, you know, well done.
So now let's fast forward a little bit. You are about to become a parent yourself not too long ago. You're relatively new.
Yeah, man.
Right. Tell me about look at you when you first found out you were going to be a dad.
Oh man, that was the greatest. That was the greatest time of my life. I mean, college was up until that point. You know what I'm saying? Even within the business, like I thought the greatest time of my life would be getting that deal, but college was really still, you know, supersedes that.
Right.
But the time when me and my wife, or my wife is finally pregnant, oh my God, man, that was euphoric, man, because, you know, all my life, man, is always wanted, you know, a wife, a kid. I always wanted that stereotypical house picket fence wife, you know, two kids, all that. You know, even in the midst of all the shenanigans, that I did, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
I
right,
still
right.
at the end of the day wanted that life, you know what I mean? And so, you know, for me to be able to get that, I think my daughter was born when I was 44.
Mm-hmm.
My son came at 40, I think I was 47.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was it was euphoric, man. It was like, damn, is this real? Is this happening? And you know, we're going to the, you know, going to see, you know, the doctor and looking at the sonogram and all that. And I'm looking at the face and the hands and the, oh man, you know, it's just like I still got the, you know, all of that stuff in this phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a feeling like no other, man, because I felt like I prayed for this all my life, you know what I'm saying? And now it's here. We have it, you know. So now it's just a process of, you know, making sure that everything is in working order, everybody's healthy. You know, we're praying for the perfect, you know, birth. We didn't even go to the hospital, man. We did it at a birthing center, if you will, that
Mm-hmm.
because of the pandemic no longer exists. That's terrible.
Oh no.
But you know, we wanted it to be as natural. It was a water birth
Mm.
um, for my first child. But it's amazing, man. I mean, I can't even put it into words. It was just like, wow. And she came out so alert. She didn't even cry. You know what I'm saying? She almost, it almost felt like she was here already. Like she was just looking around. You know what I mean? And the ironic thing is she came 5 days, like she acted like she didn't want to come out. So she
It
came
was 5 days
5 days
late.
after, you know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, we had to go to a in order for, you know, to, I guess, to shake her loose. We had, I remember the day like it was yesterday. We had to go to this farm. It was like a farm where kids can go and blah blah blah. So me and my mom and my wife, we walked around, you know, because they told us, we were reading this book that, you know, in order for, you know, the birth to happen when you want it to happen, your wife should be mobile, walk around. So we walking around this place at least for 2-3 hours. And so by the time we get home, oh my God, it's on. She, because, you know, my daughter was already late. So, you
Right.
know, it was like by the time we get home, it's like, oh, it's on. And luckily we got the bags packed, you know, but the labor was, man. I mean, it was like night and day. And I think I read this somewhere. It's like the first one for most people is always long. Second one, if you had one, just like that. And that's how it was with my daughter and my son. I think my daughter was 18 hours.
Oof.
My
Lord.
son was 2.5.
What? Wow. The boy was like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out.
And he came early. So he
was
came
ready
about
to go.
he came about 2 weeks early. He was ready to come out. My
He
daughter,
was ready
she
to
was
go.
not only late, but the labor was 18. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my,
He was
18
not trying to
hours.
come out, yo.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So you mentioned, you raised an interesting point. Being an older dad at that point, did you feel more prepared, or were you still like, I don't know what I'm doing?
Oh no,
You know?
no, man. I was definitely, I was so glad. Like, I'm glad the way I did it.
Mm-hmm.
The way I did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I did it the way I did it because, man, I wasn't ready to be no father, especially while we're doing the music, like sign and moving around the country and the world or
Yeah.
whatever, and enjoying life, if you will, selfishly. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't ready for that. Like, so I thank God, he or she knew,
Mm-hmm.
Trey, we're gonna do it when you're mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually ready to do this. And so, my kids came at the right time, man. And the blessing about it is, I think, at least this is the way I feel now. Now I heard it could switch just like that, but I feel like they're gonna keep me younger than I actually, I just turned 50 last year, so they're gonna
God
keep me
bless.
younger.
God
Yeah,
bless.
thank you, brother. Thank you. So they're gonna keep me, young and vibrant and all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like keeping me hip, and then to know what's going on. Like what y'all talking about now, man? You know what I mean? What's the lingo? What's the done language, as we used to call it? You know what I'm saying?
No, they definitely keep you in the know, especially having a teenager right now. There's the conversations we have, and his perspective of the world keeps me grounded, because I'm older and jaded, and I think I know how everything works. And he's saying, well, Dad, have you considered it this way? Because he's seeing things. His generation has grown up with social media, grown up with the internet. So it's a very different experience for him. We remember what it was like to be actually log off when we used to type "be right back." We actually used to log off and go live life and then come back on to instant messenger. Now we never log off. We on it all the time. So he's
crazy.
It's crazy to me to think about that. But yeah, it's kids are great for just keeping your eyes and ears flexible, especially the young ones, because he said 6 and 4.
6 and 4, and see, their experience is gonna be something totally different than even the teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And the people that are in young 20s, their whole thing is something else. And I'm looking at them. I think they are going to like it. I see it now with the what are they called, the Generation Zers or the what? Are they
it's Z? I forget what's after Z. Don't make me a liar. I know I think my son is Z, but there's a generation. Your kids will be the generation after my son,
right?
So I don't even know what they call them, the ones that are that young.
But I see the Zers actually changing the world. The Zers are actively changing the world right now.
Yeah.
So I think my kids are going to be the benefactor of that. That's going to take this thing somewhere where it's like, So I'm really paying attention to them, man.
They're ready to blow this whole world up, like metaphorically, because especially I was going to ask, how have you guys been managing during the pandemic? Because you mentioned you were homeschooling, like the relationship between labor and capitalism, everybody's questioning it. This past year has made everyone who didn't question it before, not to say people weren't questioning it, now they're really looking at it like, wait a minute, you want me to go and work in a restaurant for $10 an hour and expose myself to this disease and other people and all this other stuff, and you think that giving me unemployment is a bad thing and keeps me from going to that job that endangers me? And the millionaires are all like, we need to hurry up and open back things. Like, but you want me to risk my life for $10 an hour? Like, something's not adding up. And more and more people are seeing, hey, wait a minute, why did I have to go into the office again? Like, you told me I couldn't work from home. You told me that I couldn't log in, and now everybody's working from home. And so everything you've been saying has been a lie. Everything you've been saying for the last how many years about remote work.
And these kids are not stupid. That's the one thing that I noticed about them. These kids are smart as I don't know what. They may not know it all yet because they haven't lived long enough yet, but they smart as I don't know what, man.
But because their perspective is just different. They have more information, and their way of processing things is different.
Yep.
So that's why I said I feel you on it. They're smarter than we were. It's crazy. It's crazy. So what are your kids like? Like, what's the young Trey Lee's like?
Well, listen, like we just alluded to, both of them, but especially my daughter, she is smart as a whip. I'm having full-fledged adult conversations with her, not using adult language, but just the way that we're conversing is like, how old are you? What? And she has an answer for everything at 6. At 6, that is amazing to me. At 6 years old, I didn't have any answers. At 6 years old, she has all the answers. And it's like, why are we, because sometimes I got to stop her because she'll, we'll talk and I'm telling her to do something and she'll interject with something that's actually logical, but I got to cut her off. Like, listen, man, just do what I'm telling you to do.
Give me an example. If you give me an example.
Okay, so yesterday, and I had to tell, and I'm listening to my wife, and she's writing. My daughter is writing a paragraph.
Right.
So she's writing a sentence, and then she puts the period, and then she has the next sentence that says, and da 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 da. Right. And so my wife says, you can't start a sentence with the word and.
Right.
And so, and she's done this a couple of times. Right. And then my daughter's like, well, why not? And then my wife is like, you just can't do it. You can't do it. So what I did, and this is what I often do, I'm eavesdropping. I Google. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, I don't like to argue.
Right.
And so Google was the best thing invented to me for that, because we don't have to argue. Let's look it up. So I'll look it up. And then lo and behold, there are many articles that say Listen, I understand what your high school teacher taught you, but in actuality, if you do it the right way, you can start a sentence with the word and.
Right.
And so I didn't want to tell my daughter that, because if I'd have told my daughter that, oh boy. So I waited till my daughter went to the back, and and I knew it was gonna make my wife hot. I was like, we need to just stop telling her, no, just because, and actually do some research, because she's actually right. You can start the sentence with the word she, and my wife was like, you know what I'm saying? Like I could see her bubbling, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, maybe next time we might not, you know what I mean? But that's how my daughter thinks. Like, and a lot of times she is absolutely right. But you know how we grew up. We just said, our parents just told us, no, just because. Yes. Didn't give us no rationale, no reasoning, no, just because. Right. You know what I mean? So we just stopped that. Oh, well, it's just because. Right. Not this one. This one is, nah, you got to tell me more. Why? You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it.
I love it too, though. I'm like, because it makes me think. It makes me really think. It's like, damn, you know what? You're right. That's crazy. That's crazy.
One of the cool discoveries for me is, since my daughter's gotten a phone and she's gotten in on the family group chats, I've seen sides of her personality come out in text that I didn't think I'd see. Like, she's funny as hell. She's snarky. She's a snarky little person. I'm like,
how old is she?
12. She's 12. She's in middle school. So like, I found this joke, right, where someone made a fake Twix and it was mozzarella sticks and it looked like Twix. And I sent it to the group chat, and she's like, are those mozzarella sticks, or did they pick the biggest psycho on the marketing team to fill it with white chocolate and cover it in breadcrumbs?
Wow.
This is my 12-year-old in the chat, and this is her all the time. And I'm like, yo, where is this coming from?
Where did that come from?
These kids, just that thought process. What do you know about the marketing department? What do you know about? And to think, okay, it's not real mozzarella sticks, it's white chocolate covered. Like, who thinks this stuff up, man? But
yeah, all the time, bro. All the time.
They're amazing. What about your son? What's
now? Okay, so he's okay. So it's like one got the left side, one got the right side. He's a lefty too. So his way of thinking, his processing is different. My daughter is good with letters, spelling, writing. My son is good with numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, at 4 years old, he's doing 10 plus 2 because he watches number blocks all day. 10 plus, hey, daddy, did you know 10 plus 2 equals 12? Hey, daddy, did you know 6 plus 6 equals 12? Did you know what I'm saying? Like, and me and my wife just said, yo, we got a 4-year-old son that doesn't know how to read yet, but this cat knows math at 4. You know what I'm saying? Which my daughter is always, she's struggling with, not struggling, but it seems like he's gotten that point, that at that point, at this age, or should I say, gotten that kind of analytical skill with regards to numbers faster, way faster than my daughter. But he's also wild as hell. 100 miles and running from the time he gets up. Mind you, he gets up before everybody. He's up at about.
Oh no!
And I thought I was early. Like I get up early. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an early bird. I'll get up about maybe 6:37. He's up at like 6:15.
Oh,
jumping in the bed.
On school days too, because they're good for waking up on the weekends and not waking up during the week.
School days, weekend, it don't even matter. He's the first one up in the house every day, every day, and he's nonstop. He doesn't take a minute to slow down. You know what I'm saying? So, he just, but I know what it is. I know it's the pandemic, right? So we've been in this house for a year and a half. For the pandemic. Right. This guy needs activity. This guy needs to be outside. He needs to be amongst his peers. He needs an open field, because he will rip and run through this house, in this basement, wherever, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And he's always like, can we go outside? Can we go outside? Can we go outside? Like, there's not enough room in here.
Right.
He needs that. He's just an energetic, and he wants to run and race and run and race. You know what I'm saying? So I got some ideas. When we do go outside, oh yeah, we're gonna get into athletics. We're gonna do all that. I see what it is with you. But he's just a big ball of energy, man. He's a big ball of energy, man. I love it.
How have you been managing during the quarantine?
It's been actually, man, it's been a blessing, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I empathize with everybody that's, been suffering through this, physically, mentally, financially. You know what I'm saying? I think if anything, it may have, from a psychological perspective, it's starting to wear or was beginning to start to wear on us. And then now we get to this point where, you still want to be cautious about opening up, but there's enough education out there for you to make a decision one way or the other, whether you get the shot, you don't get the shot, you decide to, go to certain places, you decide to stay home. I think it's getting to the point where, maybe not full-fledged, but you can get into some spaces where you can start to have human contact with people. And I think that's the part that all of us miss the most.
Yeah.
But for the most part in here, man, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing creatively. As you can see, I did an album, you know what I'm saying, and a book, while we were in the pandemic. I think, my wife is working on a book, and as well as she's a producer, so she's doing something with PBS now. So from a creative perspective, it's been tremendous. I think from a bonding perspective with our kids, you have kids, so you understand how time flies, right?
Yep.
You look up and they're out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
I just posted it on the Instagram yesterday. It was a picture of my son from when he was a baby. And I was like, this baby now is in college with his own bank account. Time flies.
So I believe this time gave us an opportunity to really bond with our kids at a critical moment in their lives, when they're young, you know what I'm saying? And be able to have, traditional sit down dinners and be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and because if not for the pandemic, or not, you know what I'm saying, for the situation that we're in, they would have been spending most of their time outside of the house, whether it be at school or some type of activity, So at least we had these last 2 years to really, get closer, you know what I'm saying? So that when we do send them back out there, there's a different type of relationship that's going on, you know what I'm saying, with our children. So I think we came out of this, in pretty good shape, you know what I mean?
Speaking of, hold on, the book, there was the page where you talk about we good. It's page 75.
Yeah.
If I can kiss my kids, I'm cool. Living in the fridge on full. Trust me, we good. Yeah. And there's this great shot of your little ones playing, looks like what, miniature golf?
Yes.
Maybe you can hold it up because my background is page 75.
Yep, I got it right here, brother.
Yeah, yes. Give me the story behind that picture.
Oh man, so again, you see I got the full-fledged afro too, right? We've been in here so long, I have grown 2 afros. Thank God I still got a hairline and all that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of cats my age is not as fortunate, you know what I mean? But
for real.
And I don't mean to brag, but but anyway.
Brag away. I'm bald in this hat, so God bless you for having a hairline still. Go ahead.
But yeah, man, like I said, my kids, especially my son, let's go outside. So we've been confined to, just our space here. So, the opportunities that we do go out, you know what I mean? It was just really, I was just, as you can see, I was sitting in the back and I'm looking at them, I'm watching them, but I'm really like enjoying the fact that they are out there. And I'm looking at, and I'm kind of marveling at the fact that, for myself, that I'm blessed enough to be able to be in a position that I'm in, to have 2 healthy kids, enjoying themselves, enjoying the activity, and to see them having fun, during this time, because again, we're smack dab in the pandemic, but they understand what's going on, especially my daughter. She understands exactly, I don't like COVID. I want to see my friends. I hear that, you know what I'm saying? And I understand it. But at the same time, you're not an adult, right? So we try to protect them from all of the situation and put them in a position where they can, get some enjoyment out of just being here in the now. And so that's really what was my take when I'm looking at them and I'm watching them, play golf and in the yard or what have you, man, and understanding, in the midst of everything that's going on out there, right, I'm looking at it like, man, I have no complaints. Food in the fridge. I can kiss my kids. Everybody's healthy. You know what I'm saying? We still got a paycheck coming in. I still got a cabinet full of wine. We are good. You understand? Like, we're good,
I'm with you. I really came to understand what the difference between needs and wants were. Yes. In the last year. I'm like, as long as I have the things I need, I'm good. All I needed was, like you said, food on the table, roof over my head, and I had enough for that. I'm good. Yeah.
Like, I don't. We didn't even need a vehicle. You understand me?
True. You're right. We've used it. We have the car, but where were we going? Yeah. My car unfortunately had gotten totaled in the end of 2019. It was parked on the street. It was a hit and run.
Oh man.
And it was paid off. I was gonna give it to my son when he started school, but I didn't see the need to go and replace it because it was like, where am I going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I totally understand it. And I love that shot. Please send that shot to me if you can.
I got you, brother. I got
you. They look like they were having a ball.
Yeah.
And what do they think of Daddy's music?
Oh man, they love it, man. I've done a record with my daughter on the last album before Glory. I did an album in 2019 called Expect the Unexpected.
Okay.
And it's a song on there that she's actually on the hook and throughout the record. So she's been acclimated to the process.
Oh, nice. What's the name of the song?
I think it's called You Damn Right. It's on Expect the Unexpected.
Get out. Okay. Yeah, I gotta go because I've been bumping Glory, so I have to go back and catch up on.
Yeah. So if you look at the track list, I think it's called You Damn Right. No, Get It Right. Not because it was called Damn Right until I put it on the record.
Yeah. Look at you being a responsible father.
Exactly. So yeah, it's called Get It Right.
Get It Right. Okay.
Yep. So she and I know they're both musically inclined. Like,
okay,
they have rhythm. My daughter's always singing around here, so I'm just peeping the scene. I'm taking notice. I'm seeing what they like, what they don't like, what they gravitate towards, and then we start putting investing time and perhaps money into that gift. And then my son, I'm shooting a video in here with the green screen.
Okay.
And she's because we're going to shoot videos for everything that's on Glory as well. We're going to put out a visual album.
Okay.
Which is coming soon, by the way. But he's mimicking me doing everything that I'm doing in front of the camera. So I'm seeing the hand gestures, I'm seeing the da-da-da-da-da, and I'm peeping them. I'm like, okay, I'm taking note. I see what it is. Matter of fact, today he had the headphones on and I had a record that I did, and he's like, yo, daddy, and he knows the record. He's like, yo, daddy, dewy-eyed looking out of my window, dewy-eyed looking. I'm like, okay, you got a little bounce to you too. Okay, bet. I see what's going on here. We're gonna start molding and shaping. So to answer your question, man, they love it. They love the music.
That's dope, man. Speaking of the album, my favorite probably is the Love Song. Talk to me about making that song and just a little bit about working with the producers. Say his name. Like, I'm reading it. I feel like I was mispronouncing it. Okay. Yeah, that record, man. The Love Song is my shit. Talk to me about that one real quick.
Listen, brother, I'm glad you like that record. I'm glad you love that record. You know what I'm saying? Pun, you know what I'm saying? Pun intended.
Right.
Because I felt like in the midst of all of this, in the midst of what we were watching on television and all the narrative everybody's trying to paint with regards to, it was just crazy for the last, since, since last year, March, and, who we got rid of in the office and all this, you know what I'm saying, mess going on in the street, you know what I mean, with regards to our people, you know what I mean? The thing that the word and the action that all of them are afraid of is the word love, the action, because it defeats everything. Right. It defeats it all. And so that's the word and the action that they try to stay away from, because they know if you implement more love, then all of this stuff disappears. But nah, it's always fear. It's always, you know what I'm saying, all the hate, or it's always, you know what I mean? Like, it's always the inverse, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I felt like I needed to, and especially, within our culture and our genre, it's like, I don't hear enough love. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear enough love in the records. I don't hear, it's always like how real you are, or, you know what I'm saying? Which, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We learned that the keeping it real was not keeping it real a lot of the times.
Exactly. So I just felt like we don't have enough of this. But then, there's always this thing, well, how do you talk about love if you're not talking about sex, or you're not talking about, like, how do you talk about love and keep it cool? You know what I mean? Well, if you got skills, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? So, it's being creative with it, but then it's also being, sending a message with it as well, man. We need more love, period. You know what I mean? We just need more love. And I think love transcends and conquers all, as they say. So that was really, and with the skill, from a skill perspective, just being metaphoric and coming up with common things to talk about with regards to love, and even the structure of the song, doing it. I think I did 6 verses, but it's like 12 bars each, you know what I'm saying? All the way down the line or something like that. Or 8 bars. Yeah, I forget what it was, but that's just from the creative aspect. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is just about love, man. We just need more love. We need more love.
Okay. I want to bring it full circle with my last question. Give you something to spar with a little bit.
Sure.
The many faces. There were what, 8 personalities?
5.
I don't know how I added 3.
I'll name them: Trey, Trey, L, Rock, Mr. Lee, and the LR.
Okay. Of the 5 personalities, which one do you think is the better father, or could potentially be the better father?
Trey, L, Rock. I'm gonna say Mr. Lee.
Okay.
I'll say Mr. Lee only because L and the LR were more concerned with the bar work. They were more concerned with just being the masterful MC. You know what I'm saying? Rock was the party guy, so that's not it. You know what I'm saying? Trey was the ladies' man, so that can't be it. So Mr. Lee was the most financially, the most fiscally responsible.
Okay.
Out of all of them. So I would have to say it has to be him, because he's trying to create generational wealth, build the foundation with regards to that. So, just, and I don't want to say by default, but he's just more stable than the rest of them. They're concerned with other things that are not conducive to being a father for children and, being a husband and all that other kind of stuff. So I say Mr. Lee.
Okay. Do you ever go back and listen to your old music and think, or what would my kids think of these songs? Or, would I do anything differently if I had kids at the time,
Nah, I think I like, there was one project, Live from the 215. That's the only project that I cringe when I listen to, because that was the project, and that was done through Universal, but it was never released. And I had 2 records from Kanye on there. I had Corrupt on that album, Black Rob, God rest his soul, Buckshot, all that. But I think in that particular album, I went the direction that everybody said that I should go in after they heard Many Faces. I just took one direct direction. It was all street reckless talk. You know what I'm saying? A lot of profanity. I think that's the only one that I wouldn't play for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think it's dope for, just for us heads, you know what I'm saying, to listen to, because we still got the skill set there. But I'm just, I wouldn't let them listen to in regards to the language. But everything else, even Many Faces, man, I'm proud of the work, and I think I did it in a way that they can listen to it and enjoy it, and I don't have to feel uneasy about it. And then everything after that, I don't curse in the records anymore. Like from ESQ, I released that under the label, Expect Unexpected, and now with Glory, I may say like one word, but it was strategically placed. But for the most part, we can take that, put it in the car, do a road trip, turn it all the way up, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Oh man, Trey, since I have you here, I wanted to take an opportunity because, I'm at the same, as much as I'm happy, part of this conversation resonates with me because of the losses we've had recently. Like having you here means a lot to me because Black Rob ain't here no more. Right. DMX ain't here no more. Shock G ain't here. Hey. Like those back to backs. So I want to pause, gather myself, and just say thank you for everything that you've given us, and to give you your flowers while you're here. But also, I want you, if you could remember a Black Rob memory from, that you would want to share.
BR, man. That I tell people, since this has happened, and ironically, it's both of them. DMX, Big DMX, Black Rob are probably the three most authentic people, artists that I've met in this business, period. And when I say authentic, meaning I don't care what the setting was, I don't care where they were, what city they were in, who was around, they kept it the same. It was always the same. There was no variation. There was no divvying. They were the same people. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? BR, man, like I said, I did a record with B. And it was on a record called Evolution 3000. He did 2 verses. And, we picked one. And, he was just like, yo, Trey. And I recently saw him in 2016 down at CIAA. You know what I'm saying? We were, without being linked, we were kind of linked. You know what I'm saying? Not only, under the big umbrella with right. Puff, Mark, Pitts, and all that other stuff, so the affiliation there. But then having that record that everybody knows when it comes on between, the theme is Party Time and Whoa. You know what I'm saying? So, there will be oftentimes we'd be in the same spot, DJ would turn it on, and we'll be in the booth together and back to back. You know what I'm saying? He'll do Whoa, I do, you know what I mean? But he was, BR was just an authentic dude, man. And he had his own, with the skill set that he had, nobody sounded like BR. Like he sounded, there was no duplication of that guy. He was one of one. Is one of one. And I've had, many conversations with B, you know what I'm saying? Just on some whatever, you know what I mean? Whether it be in Daddy's house, whether it be a Crazy Cat, you know what I mean? But again, I'm a big proponent of authenticity, man. And, and a lot of times I didn't really rock with a whole bunch of people in the business. And I think people knew that because you just didn't see me out and about and around like that, because there was a lack of authenticity with a lot of people. But BR, in my opinion, but with right. BR, that wasn't the case, man. He was the same all the time.
Did you guys record the song together, or was it more of like exchange? So y'all were in the room
all together? In Crazy Cat, him, Buckshot, Corrupt, all of us. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like not all together, but I was right. there for everybody. So right. I'm in there, BR come in there one day. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there, Corrupt will come in there one day. I was in Buckshot to come in, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I had the opportunity to, it wasn't no send me the files,
Right.
it wasn't no, what I mean, send it over the net. It was none of that. We in there, we vibing, and I'm telling them what the direction is or what we're trying to go. And really for that particular record, it was just like bar work. Give me, this is Evolution 3000. So we want to take it into the future. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, I'm just blessed to be able to not only, do songs with the brother, but, actually converse with the brother, build with the brother. And yeah, man. Yeah.
Our era took such a hit this month.
Yeah, these are, you know what I mean? These are my contemporaries, man. This is my class. Like, I'm looking like, damn, to the left of me, to the right of me. It's crazy.
Well, this is why I'm glad my last guest, well, 2 guests ago was Tony Dofat. So understand where my head is at.
Yes.
Trying to reconnect with that elements and those people, because hey, they're still here, and thriving.
Yes.
Got the album, the book, the family.
Tell that story. Tell that story, Jay. Thriving, because I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff out here, talking about the middle-aged rapper and
right.
and all this other foolishness. I'm like, yo, come on, man. It can't be a one-sided story. We out here.
Out here. And on that note, we are going to conclude this episode of Fathers Who Bother with the great Tracey Lee. Brother, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and sharing your glory with my listeners and with me. And we're going to look out for that visual album for this. Hopefully, well, if you said everybody's getting every song is getting a visual, then I'm looking out for my fave. You got to get me.
I got you. I got you, man. Trust me. Hey, Jay, man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate this conversation. This is, I don't say this for everybody. This is clearly one of the more unique, interviews. Not even an interview, man. We just chopping it up, man. But this, you brought a lot. You drew a lot out of me, brother. And I appreciate the conversation, man. You took it in a direction that nobody's ever taken it, man. And I just thank you for that, man. And please keep doing what you're doing. The culture needs you, and they need this, man. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Give my best to the family.
Will do, brother.
Friday.
Yes. You do the same. And listen, I want to just tell everybody, if you want the book, you want the, the album Glory is available on all streaming platforms, but you can also get that as well as the book at TraceyLeeMusic.com. That's TRACEYLEE music.com. Glory the manuscript, Glory the album, all right there. And
get it, folks. I got my copy. Get yours. It's worth it.
Yes.
All right, brother.
Peace. Yo, man, that was dope.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me just stop recording. If you're enjoying Fathers Who Bother, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us on Instagram at Fathers Who Bother and Twitter at Fathers Who Be. Thanks.